Oh, you're not filming yet? I would have sung Jingle Bells in the background. I said we would go back to books, didn't I? Well, that didn't work out. Ghost face. Oh, it doesn't budge either. It's not, how can you say it, like Pennywise the Clown terrifying. Hello lovely bookworms, I'm Esmay from Paradise of Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and welcome to a new Christmas countdown video. Today, as you are watching this, it is the 25th of December and I want to say Merry Christmas to all of you. I thought today, I think I did this last year and I'm gonna probably do it again next year. I thought we would end it off with a nice chatty get ready with me. I'm gonna talk about books, how my year has been. I have the beautiful Christmas tree in the background, which is a little bit further away, but I think you will bear with me. And that's why we're starting with bare face, completely bare. And let's just get started. I'm gonna start with a little bit of a rescue balm for my lips. This one is from Rituals. I love how luxurious these little pots look. And yes, blame me, I'm digging with my nails. Alright, rescue balm is on. Let's see if it can actually rescue my very dry lips. It is December season, and let's just get started. I have, where's my other clip? There it is. My two clippies. We're gonna clip the hair back. Have my face free. I do have to grab one more thing I've realized, which is my mirror. I'm gonna see if I can put this right in front of me. Let's put you here. I don't think you guys can see it, but I can see myself, which is always good. And let's just get started. I'm gonna start by priming the face with the Honey Do Me Up. This is a new bottle. This guy is a direct fault of Laura's. I actually tried hers out when she was here this summer and I fell in love with it. I use a bit more than one scoop and I put it on my face. I love this stuff. It also looks very luxurious and it feels that way too, so that's really nice. I thought we could talk a bit about what my year's been like, my reading. I thought I would talk a bit about the books I've read over the couple of months that I didn't really film. I'm not sure which books I talked about, which books I haven't. I'm gonna be approximate with this, and I'm gonna start with sort of a standard type of book that I read the last couple of months. So my reading has been really on and off this year. On the one hand, I've read quite a bit. On the other hand, I've had weird patches of reading. And something that I really liked to read the last couple of months was none other than Agatha Christie short stories. And the reason why I like them so much is that I can listen to them in the car. They're about 30-minute audiobook. And it keeps you reading, but you don't have to focus that much on a huge story. Like right now, for example, I'm listening to mostly Christmas music, but then to have like a tiny little Agatha Christie audiobook just helps, if you know what I mean. So that's what I did for quite a bit of it, and I really enjoy them. I think Agatha Christie, Poirot is just one of my favorites in general. They're just really good. And the stories are always fun. The devil's in the details with Agatha Christie, and I really enjoy them. By the way, as you can probably see, I'm using two different colors. One of them is a foundation, the other one's a concealer, but it doesn't really, you know, there's not a big difference there. But they're both by Catrice actually. This is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage. If you've been watching a couple of my makeup videos, I've been using this for a long time. And then I have the True Skin concealers. I have one that's a bit lighter as well. I have the color 010 right now, and I use the color 02 as well. If I don't want to use foundation, I do want to brighten up a bit, I will use the 02 one instead of a foundation. But today we're going full glam, and I use a sponge to blend it in. So yeah, the Agatha Christie ones have really helped me read. My last couple of months of the year have been quite strange. Lots of things going on. Luckily all, or almost all of them positive, which is really nice. I don't know, the year turned out really well for me. So towards the end of the year, I really have improved with my mental health. It really took a good turn, like a turn for the good, not a turn for the worst. And my reading has suffered a bit in the last couple of months because I've been so busy with my new job, which is one of the major things I've accomplished this year. I don't think I actually mentioned how I got this job. I actually had a profile on LinkedIn, which I created, a while ago, and I wasn't actively looking for a job after I finished my thesis and after I finished my degree, but I actually got approached by a recruiter of the company I'm working at currently, and they asked me that if I might be interested in the job I eventually sort of applied for. And I'm gonna go in with my contour, by the way. I do use a liquid contour. This is the Revolution Super Dewy Liquid Bronze in Fair to Light, because ghost face. And they asked me if I would be interested in the position, and so I checked up on it, of course. I'd at that point gotten more job offers, but all of them weren't for me. And when I got this one, I was actually interested enough to at least have an initial conversation with the recruiter. So I had a conversation over the phone with the recruiter, I would say sort of the middle of August, I think. At this point I was also currently working at my old job, and so I had a phone conversation, and I was quite enthusiastic, and same goes for the recruiter. She was enthusiastic too. So she told me, I'm gonna put through your CV, you'll have to send it in, and I will send it through to the company you're at, because it's quite a big company, and she would send it through to sort of the regional manager, director, kind of, that's like a manager, so I could come in for an interview. And when I got invited for the first interview, and when I went in, the director wasn't there, but the sales manager that I talked to was quite interested, and so he asked me to come back for a second conversation or second interview. Usually they always do that because they want to make sure that you fit into the team, which is really, really nice. Not that I have, like, the position I hold is kind of on its own, but you need each other in order to work. So that is something that I personally really enjoy. I don't know, I just like working in a team and being part of a team and being sort of an important part of a team. And so I came in for a second conversation, and at that point I actually told my family, I was like, hey, I think I might actually get a job offer today. And my dad was like, you know, Esmay, get your head out of the clouds. That doesn't happen that quickly. They usually have, you know, a couple more interviews, or you'll have to, you know, go for a day to see what the work will be like and all of that. So I actually went in not with zero expectations, but I didn't really know what to expect. So I went in for the interview, and the interview was actually quite short, and they asked me like, hey, do you have time today? I did, because I was on holiday at that point, or I had a break from work. And so I actually was with them for over an hour, just checking out what the work would be like approximately, and I was still enthusiastic, and they were. And so the sales manager, because the director wasn't, he was currently on vacation, he actually told me, like, if before you go, Esmay, make sure that you talk to me, because I want to talk about something. And so I actually at that point got offered a job to work with them, which I thought was really, really cool. And yeah, that's how I got my job. I actually signed the contract on the 30th of August, and I quit my old job on the 31st, which was very strange because my old job was really a safe place. I really liked working with the people there. I in general had great colleagues, but I knew that the job that I was working in customer service at the garden center was not something that I would do for the rest of my life. It was something that I was doing temporarily, and I didn't expect to so quickly after getting my degree would be finding a job that I would want to do for, you know, an amount, you know, an undetermined amount of time. And it was it was very good for my self-esteem because of how much I struggled with getting my degree and getting to the point where I was at that point in like the ending of August, to be offered a job which is as good as it is, because I really like the company, I love the team I work in. But it was very strange leaving my old job behind. So actually after my holidays I came back in and immediately had to tell them like, hey, thanks for the holiday, but I am leaving, which was very strange to say the least. But it wasn't in a bad way, if that makes sense. So yeah, I quit my old job. Finished that the entire month, because you have a month of sort of handing in your notice is a month here. So I had a four-week notice, and I started my new job on the 1st of October. Fun fact, in the meantime, I also was invited to the outing of my new work for their sort of annual party. This looks very strange, by the way. I'm gonna continue on with my eye primer. And that's how I got my new job. So that was not something that I expected at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year I was still struggling to get my master's degree, and I was going through quite a rough patch because about the same time last year I was quite sad because I had lost Nina. I was just, the holidays didn't feel as nice last year as they do this year, because of how much I've grown in this year, how much has happened, and in general I'm happy about the turn that my life took in a year's time. And so yeah, I have a new job. I had my master's degree in October. I also had my master's ceremony, which was amazing and so surreal, because at one point I didn't expect I'd actually get there, but I did. And yeah, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside just thinking about it, and knowing that in the end, with a lot of hard work, I managed to pull it off, and I got my degree all by myself. Well, not all by myself, I mean I had people to back me up and support me, of course, but in the end I had to write that thesis and I had to, you know, do it. So that was, I think, the most important parts of my year. Getting to grips with what I want in life, and yeah, just accomplishing a lot of goals that I had. Good job, solid job, my degree, just a lot of things that I think make me happy. And I hope that 2022 treated you well. I know that 2022 was again a weird year. The beginning of this year, especially here in the Netherlands, we were still in lockdown. I celebrated my 25th birthday in a lockdown, which was strange. I turned 25 this year. But I mean, it is what it is, and life just happens a certain way. I'll probably just celebrate my birthday next year or not, or we'll see. But it is a little bit surreal. By the way, if you're wondering which palette I'm using two Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. The one is the Checky Aina palette, which has more pans than the new one, because this one has 12, I think, and then these are slightly bigger. This is the Nouveau palette. I love this palette. Can you see how beautiful those colors are? Absolutely stunning. So I started with the very light one just below my brow bone, and then I went in with the light, what is it, like a orangey shade, like a warm shade. Now I'm gonna go into the slightly darker shade with a different brush. I'm gonna put that in the outer corner, and I think we can go back to books a bit. I feel like I might be rambling a bit, but that's because when I sit down and do these types of videos, I usually don't think about what I want to say. I just let it roll naturally. So my speech might be a bit fragmented at times because I get excited about about things, but yeah, it is what it is. Speaking on a personal level, other than my degree and my new job, I also had a weird romantic year. In, I would say January, February, I actually went back to my ex, kind of, and that lasted for about half a year, which was not the right decision in the end. I mean, you learn from those decisions, and I wish him the best, but it was just not good for me in the end, which is okay. And in October, I actually met my current person. He will laugh about this a lot, because I actually uploaded a vlog where I talked about him a bit, and then I met someone and I got a text saying, oh, I am your person now, which is funny. He makes me laugh, and he's wonderful. He really is. It's gonna be the first time for me to celebrate Christmas with someone who is not my family, because ever since I can remember, I don't think a single Christmas, apart from the one that's coming up, I've spent with someone else besides my parents, and before my grandmother passed away, my grandmother. Christmas was always just my parents and me and my grandmother, but especially since my grandmother passed away when I was 10, just the family, which is new for me, for him as well, so that is fun. We're trying to figure it out, but I'm beyond excited, and I don't know, I can't wait for what is to come. And with him, everything is fun and easy, and I love being with him. And yeah, that's about it about my personal life, I think. Let's I said we would go back to books, didn't I? Well, that didn't work out as you know. Anyway, speaking of reading, other than that, I have, other than the Poro books that I mentioned a bit ago, I have also read Small Spaces by Catherine Arden, which is, I read during the Halloween period, which was the exact perfect timing for that. I loved it. It was so much fun. I think that those types of books are just brilliant for that type of year. Having a creepy middle grade that is not, it's not, how can you say it, like Pennywise the Clown terrifying, but just eerie and creepy enough is perfect. I love those types of books. It was fun, it was quick as well, which is perfect if you're in a bit of a reading slump like I was. And I just really, really enjoyed it. By the way, I'm using a highlighter for my inner corner. This is the Revolution. It really rubbed off. I don't have this as long. Highlighter Reloaded, just my type. I think it's stunning. Wasn't that expensive either. It was beautiful. Like a couple of euros, I think. Which is perfect. A little bit below the brow bone. I don't usually put it below my brow bone, but let's test it out. See if I like it. I'm not sure. I am undecided. And also something interesting I want to use, which I've been using more of lately, I have this beautiful liquid eyeshadow. I couldn't get to the word. Elf. This is in the color, can I even see that on the bottom of the lid? Or the lid or on the bottom? In Comet. So it's a liquid metallic eyeshadow in Comet. And this is just, can you see how beautiful that shade is? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a brush and I'm gonna take a bit of this liquid one, smear it out a bit, just gonna apply a little bit to the top. I think that's beautiful. I'm gonna have to be sitting with this for a while because I don't think I have paper here, so bear with me. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of that crease, sort of that outer edge shade, finish it off, and we're gonna finish off the bottom lashes afterwards. Can I smear this? I can't. Can I put it somewhere fun? I don't think so. Let's just oh, it doesn't budge either. All right, And I'm gonna put eyeliner on. I think I'm gonna go for brown liner today. I'm gonna have to get it a bit closer to my face. I'm gonna go in with a liner. I use brown liner, and then from sort of half of my eye to the ends. Let me do eyeliner and I will be back. Here we are, we're back. I did my eyeliner and I'm now going to continue on with the face. So I still have to finish up the under eyes and do liquid blush. I'm going to start with the Rare Beauty in the color Love. I use the barest minimum of this because otherwise I look like a clown. I really do. Why is my hair here so short? These baby hairs here. You can't see them. It's fine. They look fine. So yeah, let's continue on with blush. I wasn't sure which book I was at, but let's just move on to the next one. So I've also read Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood, which is a book that I was very enthusiastic about because of how much I loved The Love Hypothesis. Can you see the tiniest amount I use? And I do have to say that it did put me down a bit. I expected a bit more from that. I don't know why, but I just, with the amount of love I had for The Love Hypothesis, that rhymes, I expected to be obsessed with it. And the simple fact is, I was not obsessed with it. I think I gave it 3 or 3.5 stars. I do like the idea of people working at NASA, but I feel like for the things that they did there and the solutions they had, it was all just a little bit too easy. Like they were working on these like space helmets and they had just so easily figured that out. It was just not the entire, like it was not the biggest part of the book. And while I accept that it is a fantasy or a contemporary romance, sorry, I just would have liked a bit more nerdy stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't have my degree in anything science-y. I can't do that to save my life. I just would have liked a bit more of that, personally. But yeah, it was an okay book, but it's definitely not The Love Hypothesis. Ooh. I just feel like The Love Hypothesis is better, so. That said, I'm going in with powder. This is the Coty Airspun. Oh, that's too much powder. I have some in the lid. Way too much. It's going everywhere. It's way too much powder, but that's okay. It smells amazing. It smells like... I kind of want to say baby powder. But it's not that complete scent, but it kind of does. I'm gonna chisel out here. It looks way harsher on camera than it is in real life. And this side, just powder, 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 and below the eyes. Then I also reread 2 books. I'm not going to talk about which ones. If you follow me, you know which ones. And then let's also talk about something that I thought was really interesting, and that is The Island House by Amanda Brittney. That is a book about a woman who loses her father in a hit and run. And she actually, in her youth, sculpted a house completely from memory because that house was in her nightmares. Jingle bell, jingle bell. My dad actually was upstairs before I started filming, and he was like, "Oh, you're not filming yet? I would have sung Jingle Bells in the background." He accomplished that mission now. I'm gonna put some clear brow gel, which is no longer clear, in my brows to set them. And see, they no longer look weird with my makeup on, which is good. Really good. Finish off the lower lash line. I was talking about the Island House. So she sculpted a house completely from her nightmares, and then someone, a man who actually owns a hotel that looks like this, like the house that she sculpted, buys it, and she gets invited to see her sculpture and then see the hotel, and she goes there for a weekend. It was such such an interesting story, and it actually goes back from past to present. And I think it was really, really interesting to see how that past, you know, what happened in the past, how that shaped the current day. I am using a liquid highlighter, which is from Catrice. Yeah, it's the Catrice Villains line. And I thought it was such a fun book and a fun idea as well. I just really, really enjoyed it. So I can definitely recommend it. And then the other two that were interesting, one was The Chalet, which is about a couple that goes to a ski resort where someone went missing a lot of years ago. And I really liked the premise of the story. I have to say that the ending of it was lacking. Also the fact that you kind of quickly on realized who was going to be the killer or who is the killer. It just didn't draw me in. I missed the suspense. I missed a lot. So I gave that one, I think, 3 stars because it was okay, but not fun. Not that, well, it was kind of fun, but not completely. And then the last one I want to talk about is Nowhere to Hide, which is a book about a group of friends that go bird watching, and that one of them ends up dead. I really liked how suspenseful this was. Every single character has something to add to the pot. I do have to say that I would have, because I figured out who the killer was quite early on. And sadly, I would have liked a bit more of the story. I think it would have been nicer to twist it a little bit differently. Maybe, yeah, I can't say that because that would be a spoiler. But yeah, just maybe use the backgrounds a little bit differently. I don't know, but I missed a bit in that story. The ending was interesting, and it makes me wonder if there's gonna be a second book. That said, I would have just liked a little bit more of the ending, but it was interesting. So that said, that is all of the books that I read. Let me quickly put on a little bit of a lippy and I will be back. Lippy is on. Final step, setting spray. I think those were also all of the interesting books that I've read the last couple of while. So there we go, makeup is set. Let's take out the clips. And the makeup for the day is done. I always feel such a different person once I'm done. I don't know, it just makes me feel a lot better. That said, my hair's a little bit weird today. That said, that is, I think, everything for this video. I think it's a long one, so if you are watching this on Christmas or after Christmas, whichever day, I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble for quite a couple of minutes, and I hope you have the merriest of Christmases. I hope you've once again enjoyed Christmas Countdown this year. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and press that little bell icon so you can post notifications every single time that we post a video. And I really hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye! you.